So we're in Beyond the Basics 5. Beyond the Basics 5. And we're back into the world of segmentation, okay? We had spoken, the first Beyond the Basics we'd done as needs-based segmentation. And I wanted to come back to that because we did it all theoretically about the attributes, and I think I said in there that we will get, I will show you a practical way of actually doing this. Essentially, that involves getting a set of attributes that you think are important about the product area, asking a whole bunch of respondents about what they, about how important they consider those attributes to be, and then putting it into a magic black box statistical package for the social sciences, and put it into that magical black box and get it to run what we call a factor analysis. Okay, it works pretty well, works pretty easily. There's about 10 minutes of video in me in that same class where I did that with the students' content. So let's leave it at that, and I'll let you put up with another one of my marketing classes.
I just want to show you, here's a survey a student did for me. I told you about this, or did for me, she did it for her as her SEP, but she wanted to find out how Chinese people felt about winery cellar doors. She now works for Wine Australia, which is good on her, and she asked this bunch, came up with this bunch of attributes: reputation of the wine, wine education related activities, proximity to main road, free wine tasting, all of this. Got them to tick from not important to highly important. We ended up getting a data set, we downloaded it. I know I'm going fast on this, but don't get too worried about it. Into this, the statistical package for the social sciences. Does anybody know SPSS? Yep, used it?
Yeah, for stats.
In psych, did you do psych? Yeah? Yep, there we go. Yep. Psych people have got a bit of home ground advantage. But that said, it's a pretty useful tool. It does things at the click of a button. If you want to work out how much wine males drink and how much wine females drink, you hit a button and it just says males drink this amount and females drink that amount. Sure, you can do it on SPSS by sorting and all of that sort of thing, but sure, you can do it on Excel by sorting. Let me show you, because I just wanted to show you that how do we get a map that looks like this? How do we get a map that looks like that? And it's a lot easier than it sounds. I'm just going to do some magic button pressing, okay? There's our data, that's our variable. Reputation of the wine, wine education related activities. They're given a scale of 1 to 7. And you can see SPSS on the face of it looks a bit like a spreadsheet. Okay, so, and I'm just going to get it to do this thing called an analyze dimension reduction factor. I'll put those variable 3, 1 in there. I am not asking anybody to use SPSS in this course, all right? So look at it and don't be afraid. I'm going to ask it to do a thing called a Verimax rotation, whatever the hell that is, and then it comes out and it has a look at the data and it says, all right, we've come up with two higher order dimensions, 2 clusters of those attributes. Come down to this rotated component matrix, which is a mouthful, but I just want to let you know that it's very practically done. And we bring it into here and we say, right, so this group 1 and group 2, remember we're doing needs-based segmentation here. I told you that they don't give you the names, you have to come up with the names. And we look at this, we can see big number, small, well, big number, small number, big number, big number. We say, oh, surely there's an easier way to do that. So yes, there is. Just do that conditional formatting and let it run with its own. And then we go, oh, look at what we've got. There's these clusterings here that are about, forget that cross-loading one up the top there. There are these clusterings here that are children-friendly, art gallery, appealing architecture, proximity to main road. Nothing to do with wine. But then we've got these other clusterings over here. Sure, we've got that is a bit noisy, a bit yucky, but we've got these clusterings over here that are wine education, free wine tasting, good customer service. And I sort of, yep, I can't help but think there's a cluster there that are wine tourists, and there are day outers. Okay, so if we build those attributes that can lead us to, that might be able to give us an indication. Sure, we've got this thing that we call cross-loading. Everybody thinks, more or less, everybody thinks that high reputation is important. Fair enough. We can then go on. We can get a score, and I won't do any more on SPSS on that. But we could. What we want to do is we want to pigeonhole a person as whether they're high on the wine tourist number. Do they have a high wine tourist number or a low wine tourist number? And do the people have a high day outer number or a low day outer number? And you can sort of see then, when you get that subset of 200 people that have self-identified as being wine tourists, you can look at a whole bunch of other variables. River, and I'll show you what else she collected. She came down here right at the end, because we always put our demographics and other personal stuff at the end. Education. Did they come from a coastal city in China or a rural city? Did they come from northeast or southeast? What was their age? And so you can sort of see, once you've got your, I don't know, 50 or 100 people that self-identify as being a wine tourist, we can then look at these other variables to say, they seem to have higher incomes, or they seem to be from coastal cities in China, or higher education. Or she also came down here and asked these questions about how much they thought they knew about wine, psychographic variables. So if that's quick, if that's just blasted past you, don't be too worried about it. It's a very, very tractable technique. You know, I've got recordings about how to do it, and it will be totally fine. Anyone want to bounce a question at me on that? Yeah.
And there we were. We had a whole bunch of importance ratings from consumers. We put that into the magic black box that we called a factor analysis, and we ended up getting a picture of the needs-based segments. I did it with Rivers data just then. Later on, we can leverage that onto describing the segments. So describing the cluster of needs and segmenting people by what they thought was important in a product. And then we can go on and we can talk about, do they seem to be older than the other segment? Do they seem to be younger? Do they seem to be from different cities? Do they seem to have more males than the regular population? And that's where we get to talking about segmentation variables. So there we are. That was needs-based segmentation done practically.